welcome to the 7-part series of the Spiral of Creation, which is using the chakras more in a spiral pattern rather than straight up or down. And it's a system that's used in, or patterning that's used in a system called the dream spell, which is based off of sort of the Mayan day counting. Some people call it an astrology, but it's, just sort of like a day counting patterning system. And in the dream spell, which is its own thing, it's based off of the Mayan calendars, but it is a little bit of a more modern take on it. They have this 7-day pattern of how we work through the chakras, and it's in a spiral of creation. And so what this series is intended to do is to take us through that spiral of creation. So in the very first reading, we are going to receive a download, open to inspiration. So we're going to work each week on clearing and understanding how we work with each chakra to help it sort of clear and open and be ready for what is going to be coming in. And so I'm going to be putting this intro to the series at the start of each of the 7-week actual videos. So if you've already seen this, feel free to skip ahead to the intro to the actual reading. But if you haven't seen this yet, or if you want a refresher, I would stay here. And also a note that it is very important that you do this in order. So if you're coming into this and seeing this when we're at the heart chakra, so like the 7th reading, or if we're at the throat chakra, which would be the 5th reading, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, the 5th one, whichever one you're coming in at. If you have not gone in order, I would highly suggest for you to go back and start with the first reading of the series because this is a patterning. The first one is going to kick it off, and each subsequent one is a step that you shouldn't skip over. So I'm just going to go over what this patterning is. So we start in this system with the crown chakra. And in the philosophy around this spiraling pattern with the chakras, this is where we receive a download, receive inspiration or a divine spark, and it starts the spiral of creation. And so in the first reading, I will be helping us to see where there may be any blocks or things to be cleared, connecting different insights into how you may work with this chakra in general, and then just getting any insights about what kind of download or inspiration may be coming, but leaving it open-ended. And it's going to be a full week between readings. And so giving you that whole week of time to sort of receive your download, sort of pay attention to what this reading illuminated for you and receiving the download. And then in the second week, we'll anchor it down into the body by going into the root chakra. So taking the download and grounding it, finding how we feel connected to this, and how we feel aligned in our depths with it. So finding, our connection, our alignment, and our grounding with the inspiration that came in. And then we take it back up to the third eye, and this is the week where we will be using inner knowing to help see where there's old programming that needs to be cleared away for new programming and new creation to come in, and tapping into any inner knowings we have that can help us have vision with this, sight with it, so some longer term planning and strategy with it. And then we go back down into the sacral chakra. And so we take all these things the insights we've had and the understandings of maybe what's needed to be cut in terms of old programming, and we sort of transmutate that, we alchemize it and free up new energy to come in and start to move and feel a sensitivity and connect to some emotionality and fluidity around what this download is. So like beyond just anchoring it in and feeling connected to it, now we're kind of moving with it and feeling how it feels to us, which might help us to mold something about this or move something about it, and getting creative with it. But in the beginning, there does have to be some sort of alchemy that helps to take things we've seen that we need to cut away and sort of move it out of us as well, in order to get to moving it into us in a more fluid, creative way. And then we go back up into the throat chakra. And this is where, now that we've felt this energy, moved it, maybe molded something about it, there's something we probably want to speak at this point, release at this point. And so this is the reading where we'll connect to where there may be blocks around oppression or repression that need you to express something in order to open the gates and let it vibrate out in the world, resonate out in the world by you speaking your truth and releasing any blocks here. And then we go back down into our solar center, and this is where we find our core value with this, which gives us confidence and willpower and connection to manifesting and real sort of vitality around this to kind of charge forward and stake our claim in whatever this download has kind of turned into at this point. And then we end the series anchoring into our heart chakra, which is the center chakra of all. And it's where things fully integrate into us. So now at the end of this spiral of creation, something is trying to fully integrate here, which then opens our heart, helps us to radiate and be the presence of it and just be it. Be whatever the presence of this download ends up transforming into in this creation cycle. And in my opinion, this spiral of creation and working with the chakras this way, where we then really integrate something into our hearts, to me it's like the heart is the key that turns something on that then awakens the chakra as we're used to, the chakra system as we're used to hearing about it with like a kundalini rising. So I feel like we need to go through this spiral process and really anchor into our heart, which becomes a key that creates that kundalini rising that ignites all the chakras fully on and rising up and creating an awakening. And then we start again. It's like that awakening makes us fully open again, and then we're ready to receive a new download, a new inspiration, and a new message for a new spiral of creation. That's how I see it anyway. The dream spell system, they actually call these the 7 radial plasmas, but I think most people are more familiar with the chakra terminology. That system doesn't necessarily talk about that being the key for the kundalini rising. That's sort of my own opinion, and as I've worked this pattern a lot over the last couple of years, that's sort of how I feel like it works for me, at least. So this is where I'm going to leave you. Definitely go back to the first reading and do these in order if you're here for the first time at a later on reading. And you can definitely skip over this series intro now that you have seen it in the other readings, but definitely sometimes it's nice to have a refresher too. So if you feel like you need that, you know, maybe at the first one you watch this, and the second and third you don't need to, but then at the fourth you're like, oh, I need to refresh with that. You know, whatever works for you. But once you've seen this once, don't feel like you need to watch it every time. So after this intro that will be at the start of each of the 7 readings, we will go into the intro for the actual reading. So I will see you in the intro for whichever reading you are at. All right, see you guys. Hello, beautiful muses. Welcome to CosmoMuse Tarot. And this new reading, which is part of a series of 7 readings, taking some sort of spark, download, inspiration through a spiral of creation through our chakras. So this is the 4th of 7. If you have not done reading 1, 2, and 3, these do build on each other, so you should definitely do them in order. So go back to the first one and work your way through to get to here. So if you've done that process, you have taken some time with the crown chakra reading to download something, to find some kind of inspiration, spark of the divine within you that is the foundation, the real thing that you are taking through this spiral of creation. You've then taken it down into your root chakra to anchor into your body and to find how that aligned with your soul, hence got sort of a green light and an ignition of energy to take this forward. And then the last reading was back up into the 3rd eye, where there was some sort of connection to inner knowing, sight, being able to see the long term of this, understand how you see this going into the future, how you even connect to strategy and just even in like an inner sense of knowing that could even be coming from past lifetimes, about what it is you needed to see, know, find vision for what that inspiration was. So now we are going back down into the lower chakras, into the sacral chakra, which is one of my favorite to work with. It is really the body creativity. It's where we find movement and flow with things, and hence sort of a creative and sexual energy. It doesn't have to do with sex necessarily, but a sexual energy is a very creative, life-affirming, molding, sensual energy. And so as we look into the sacral chakra, we're going to be looking at where there may be blocks around bringing this spiral of creation into your sacral at this time. Then we're going to look at general ways in which you connect with your sacral, how your sacral works. And then at the end, we'll get some messages about what's going on with your spiral of creation here, things to know that Spirit wants to bring forward and give you insight into. But definitely, as I've mentioned in the previous readings, I keep some broad strokes around what that is that's going through your spiral of creation, because that's very unique and individual to you guys. So as I've been doing this along with you, just to kind of give an example of how I've been keeping track of this that might help you is, along with sort of taking some journaling notes along with each reading, I also have sort of like a page where I have written like the main message I felt for the particular thing I'm taking through the spiral of creation. That's just like a sentence or two, and then sort of an arrow down to the next one and an arrow down to the next one. And so it sort of shows me how that spiral of creation is mutating my thing that I brought in, my inspiration that I brought in as it goes through each chakra. but how it still relates back to the core inspiration. So a little bit about how each chakra has been working with it and how it's maybe mutated something about it to make it really kind of come more and more into my center. Okay, all of that being said, let's jump into this. Like with the other previous 3 readings, I am using chakra cards for the aligned chakra we're using from different decks. So these are not from decks we will be using in the reading. They just are decks that have chakra cards that I'm using as placeholders. And I am using the same deck in the same positions, but you don't need to stick to the same pile as you go through your chakras. Okay, we've got pile 1 from the Sigil Oracle. We've got pile 2 from the, I don't know why I forget the name of this one every time. It's like the Chakra Wisdom deck or something. It will be in the descriptions. We've got pile 3 from the Yogic deck. And we've got pile 4 from your Wise Body Animal deck. Okay, if you guys, for those of you that enjoy the breath work I take you through to help you open up to your higher self and your intuition, as well as some inspiration around connecting to your right pile, your right reading, we'll jump into that now. So place your feet firmly on the ground. Feel that security and solidity underneath you. And then take a deep breath in that expands yourself into your body, that weights yourself into your body, that anchors yourself into your body. Now exhale that and take another deep breath in, and this time suck the air up, up, up into the space between your brows. Hold it there. Suck in a little more to add pressure. Hold, hold. And then with an out loud exhale, release it, opening up your crown chakra, getting you in touch with several areas that really help bring beautiful insight, intuition, and guidance in connecting to what we need to connect to. So gaze over the piles and ask which one is your aligned reading, and timestamps are in the descriptions, so I will see you in your piles. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your sacral chakra reading for this Spiral of Creation series. You guys picked the card from the Sigil Oracle. We're going to place it over here. And jumping into this reading, we are going to take a look at this top row of cards that is going to communicate things to us about where there may be blocks, anything that you need to know that will help you to either clear some things or prepare your sacral energy to receive this spiral of creation into it. So starting with this first card, we've got 3rd house and communication. So the 3rd house, on top of ruling sort of like communication, it can also rule like our allies, so our peers, our communities, our neighborhood, even sometimes our siblings fall into that. But it's also, it's about connection, and it's about communication, and it's about those daily interactions that create sort of our comfort zones of our communities. So there's something here, and I'm, just watching the interaction of these birds. It does feel sort of like a need to maybe get out and talk about certain things on your mind, certain things you're struggling mentally to figure out about this spiral of creation that's moving through you, whatever your initial inspiration was and however it's moved through the different chakras so far. There may be something that you're needing to intellectually or articulately sort of come into a better grasp of. And there's something about communication, connecting with others, talking. You don't have to specifically talk about this spiral of creation or what you're taking through it, but wherever there are some like blocks to being able to articulate something, just getting out there and talking about concepts or ideas around it, things revolving around it. There's something about this that will really help, and thinking about the sacral chakra, some sort of creative flow feel more clearly understood, or something that's more clearly understood that allows you to move this into a more sensual place. But yeah, it feels like there's something intellectual that you're needing to kind of sort out here before that fluid energy will kind of allow this in. Let's get a Knight of Swords in reverse. I mean, yeah, that is taking action to, I think you have a lot of energy around needing to figure something out. And this is, Knight of Swords is in reverse. What's coming to me for this particular context is like, there is motivation here. You're feeling like there is energy, there's excitement. I think things feel exciting around this spiral of creation for you right now, and you're eager to get this moving. But that eagerness right now is coming from needing to understand something more clearly, to turn that Knight of Swords upright. So there's like motivation here. And the more you get out and connect and communicate and sort of figure out what your inner tension is around something right now, around really more deeply articulatively understanding something, is like getting out and talking and bouncing ideas off of your community. Because this Knight, to me, it feels like it's very eager to turn upright, to be very clear, and so more forward moving with its energy versus, eager and energetic, but being motivated through desiring clarity. So not being able to move forward, needing to kind of move things in you to make some channels connect, but working to turn that upright to move it forward. Okay, and then moving on to the next card in this top row, we've got Building and Atoms. This is about the deepest, most cellular foundations of things, the building blocks of life. So I think whatever is coming through you is starting to feel like it's maybe even like rewiring certain things for you at almost a cellular level. And I think this is more a build on from this past card of like, as soon as you can really understand and articulate what's coming through you, what's moving through you, the more that cellular reframe, that deep on a cellular level rebuilding, reframing, reshifting will feel illuminated, just like the person in this card has like a lantern. Like that, doing this work that we've already talked about is what will give you the lantern to go forward in terms of like on the depths of a cellular level, being able to like reframe, rework something really, cool that's coming through the, due to what's coming through this spiral of creation. So not insignificant whatsoever. And both of these 40, 41, those are foundational things. Whatever's coming through is really stabilizing something, giving you certain foundations, blueprints of what foundations should be. Something that's really beautiful. So something coming through this spiral of creation for you that is foundation building, maybe rebuilding. And then 6 of Pentacles as a confirmation here. And this feels very connected to sacral energy to me, actually. It's sort of like that give and take, a flow of the sensual realm, the physical realm. So it could be literal material, but it can also be your body expanding and contracting and just feeling the foundations of what it feels like to have a deep understanding of expansion, contraction, give, receive, assert, relax, that equal opposite flow of life that just makes life thrive. It makes life foundational. And I love all the suns in this card. It's just like, it feels just like bright. It feels like, elephants too are like clearing obstacles, like an illuminated path that's cleared, or that shows what needs to be cleared, that you have full capacity and capability of clearing. And just feeling the sun on you, just feeling a clear path. So it's like, really starting with that, like once you get the articulation or some inner tension around this worked out, it's like such a beautiful flow and some foundation building stuff going on here. And then moving to this last card about anything you can do to help either clear or prepare your sacral chakra to receive this is not, to me, it's not just like movement. Like here, I'm not saying, I don't get the idea of like you need to go out and jog or do some like aerobic activity. To me, with the snake on top of movement, that feels like sacral movement to me, sensual movement, sexual movement. The simplest way to get in touch with this is like putting on music that your body just wants to move to while you're getting dressed in the morning, while you're cooking a meal, while you're driving, just things that make you feel in your body, feel your senses, feel alive in that kind of snaky, instinctive, kind of goddessy, sensual way. So it's like more of that. You need to just in general get in touch with your sacral chakra. Just generally feel your sacral chakra to prepare it, to even like let it know it's there, let it know you're listening to it, you're paying attention to it. Then I think you can coax it into receiving this spiral of creation. Okay, let's get a confirmation. 2 came out. Ace of Cups. It will really bring a fluidity, a powerful, like this will bring just like a really deep, powerful, replenishing connection to your body and your life. 4 of Swords. And it will help you sort of call a truce about some sort of tension you're feeling, some sort of decision you're making, a tension you're feeling. There's something about that getting into your sacral, just acknowledging your sacral, moving through your sacral. It like really just helps you kind of let go of something that is holding tension in your life right now. Just putting down the putting down the tension, putting down the conflict, putting down the, whatever it is, which I think also brings a relaxing, less restriction in your own inner mind and body tensions, that lack, like letting go of those restrictions and allowing more flow lets our mind find what it needs to find easier as well. So a lot of like inner tension and some kind of outer tension. Initially working with that inner tension and finding a way to figure out something that allows you to move forward, brings a real new foundational sense into your life, something that's really giving you a new foundational thriving and understanding of expansion, contraction, give and take, and then really connecting to that sacral, just sensual movement that allows you to just kind of let go of some more outer world tension and feel a personal connection to self and a personal connection to you being able to fill your own cup when you put down the swords in life. Okay. We are now going to move to this lower row and take a look a little bit about your sacral chakra in general. How do you connect with it? How does it work? How does your particular sacral function? That kind of stuff. So this first one, we're going to look at how do you build, what's your relationship with your sacral? How do you build a relationship there? What is the relationship? Beautiful. Authenticity. The energy of authenticity supports our choice to be genuine and truthful in all aspects of our lives with others as well as with ourselves. That's beautiful. So the more you can be true to yourself and true in who you are and how you assert yourself into life, into the world. But it starts with the self. How can you even acknowledge what's true in you? And that's some foundational, there's something connected to your sacral and like very foundational things. So the more you can initially just be honest and true with yourself about what authentically makes you feel alive, in a sensual way in life, in your body, toward the material of life, the stronger you build a much stronger relationship with your sacral, which then works for you to mold your physical life around you. So it's all about starting to be authentic with yourself and your truths, and then that really gets your sacral working in positive, beautiful ways for you, which then brings you more authentically into the outer world and gives you sensual connection and kind of that beauty connection to your world as well. Okay, let's get a confirmation here. Beautiful. 10 of Cups. Yeah, your relationship with your sacral, it really knows how to hold fulfillment when you are being authentic with yourself and your desires of pleasure, your desires of physicality, your desires of materiality. When you're coming from an authentic place, your sacral really knows how to bring in fulfillment, and you have a relationship with your sacral that is very fulfilling. Beautiful. Okay, we are also going to look at what kind of patterns will you see presenting themselves in your life when your sacral is healthy, active, working. Peace, gorgeous. I am a being of love and I release all negative energy. I just feel this just purity flowing, when you're in touch with your senses, your creativity, your sexuality in a really authentic way. There's so much fulfillment, so much harmony. And when this is working really well, it's just like peace just revolves around you. It just orbits around you. You exude it. Life feels peaceful to you. It feels easy for you to let go of negative energy. This is here. There's something you're needing to let go of, a negative charge in the outer world right now to help your sacral be more alive. Because it wants to feel peace. It wants to be forgiving. It wants to be compassionate. Okay, let's get a confirmation. Queen of Pentacles. Gorgeous. So the peace that comes in, and of course connected to the sacral, which really helps us mold our material life, our physical life. That peace also comes with a feeling of having the world at your fingertips, of really knowing how to create and command our physical world and our physical presence, or I should say your physical world and your physical presence, coming from a very peaceful, very centered, very compassionate place. So even though there's like this deep kind of regality that presents itself and is sort of active around you, that is a little bit elite in some ways, there's this softness too that is like you've been given a queenly throne in the material realm due to how peacefully you use your regality, your materiality, your physicality. You have deep command and presence and creative force with this, but you do it with such peacefulness and compassion, and like a deep awareness too of others, of life, of what you affect, of what's affecting you, of just this deep, wise place. So when your sacral is healthy and active and moving well, that's how it will feel, is you'll feel in command of your body and your physical environment and your material life. And you will have a deep, deep peace exuding from you through sort of a sensitivity and understanding of how everything is affecting everything, hence a deep compassion, and how you use the kind of almost privilege that your sacral gives you. Yeah, gorgeous. Okay, we're going to also look at when your sacral chakra is processing something, is integrating something into it. This card is going to show us something about what its process is, so how that makes us feel, or what kind of sensation that brings into us. So we've got Red Garden. Well, that card is gorgeous. So I'm going to read from the book for this. Red Garden. Okay. Gratitude, pleasure, happiness. On this card, we see a woman strolling through a garden full of flowers. The sky glows with pink petals, and the ground has turned a luminescent blue. The woman finds great peace in being one with nature. The flowers have become part of her body, and a parrot feels at home on her shoulder. During her walk down the path of life, she keeps happiness and gratitude in her heart. She notices the simple pleasure of life and is thankful for all nature has given her. So when your sacral is integrating in the work of processing and integrating something into it, you may feel called to be more deeply immersed in nature, to get into rhythm with the natural world to help that process along. And by doing that, it just fills you up with, this deep connection to, pleasure, gratitude, happiness, just the beauty of life. This feels very kind of like fairy energy to me, like elemental, of just like really feeling connected, like you are nature, you come from nature, you've grown from and through nature, and it just makes you feel flourishing and alive and grateful and connected. Okay, let's pick a confirmation card for this. Okay, the Lovers. Beautiful. Yeah, that feels very, very fairy energy to me. I think you'll also feel just like when this when your sacral is processing and integrating something, just eager to connect, eager to kind of flit through life, eager to really ease, and we saw the third house here. Lovers and third house have kind of a correlation in some ways. Just this need to be out, to be connecting, to help those channels within us that are sometimes opposed find their right connections that elevate our life, that connect us to our higher and wider self. And there is something about like that communion with nature is maybe that connection you sometimes crave over the like human connection. But I think there's maybe a little bit of both there. Connecting with others out in nature could be beautiful, but definitely like connecting with plants and animals and natural settings and whatnot is something that will feel just very alluring to you, and your sacral is moving and working something into it. Okay, gorgeous. We are going to do two last cards that are a little bit more specific to this current spiral of creation, something Spirit wants to leave with you, wants you to know, some insight and guidance it wants to give. And I thought, what would be more fitting for the sacral than to get a message from the goddesses for you about what you specifically are moving through your spiral of creation and how that connects with your sacral. Two came out. So Cordelia, go outside. You have been indoors too long. Go outside and get some fresh air. Yeah, I mean, talk about it really feeling eager and ready to start integrating whatever's coming through your spiral of creation. It wants to get going on this. Like, I think it's ready. And then the next card we have is take that leap of faith, take a risk, put your heart's true desire into action. So this may be connected to whatever's coming through your spiral of creation, something that's very deeply authentic to you, but that might feel like a big leap, something that maybe you've sat on or not felt deserving of or good enough or whatever. Sometimes the things we most deeply want and are most authentic to us, we have the most resistance to because we care so much. And this is saying it's time, take that leap of faith, put your heart's true desire into action, and your sacral is very open and ready to get going with this. So do the clearing you need to do, get into nature. It's ready to start processing and integrating this. So that's beautiful. And then I want to bring in a kind of like a creative archetype ally for you for this. As I'm going through this series, I'm giving a week between each. You may be coming to these readings when more are available immediately, but I do suggest not moving on to the next one until you feel, you know, some of the things we've talked about have kind of integrated there, like it's made sense in what we've talked about in your reading. So I want to give you a creative soul kind of archetype energy that can be an ally for you and a guide for you as you work to integrate this and bring this spiral of creation into your sacral. So soul, house of soul. Whoops, card number 30. Okay. Oh, it's 4 of soul. House of soul. Okay, got it. Okay. One of the most significant cards in the deck, the 4 of soul, represents your entire sense of identity, the essence of your soul's expression. It is a reminder to not get lost in this sense of self. A collective humanity resides within you. How can you bring your experience to the collective? How can you bring an interconnection between your soul and those around you? We are one. And that might have something to do with this, like the preparation clearing needing to bring this into your sacral. There's so much about connection and sharing, and so this archetype, this creative archetype wanting to be an ally is sort of saying it's don't get so wrapped up in your own identity. Just get out there and connect and see where you have similarities, pathways of connection with anything and anyone, because you aren't just one identity. You are everything, that kind of thing. Like when you come from soul, when you come from that creative, sexual, fluid force of creation, you can't trap it into one kind of identity or one kind of sense of who you are or what you identify with. You need that to be fluid like water. And so like when you're out connecting both with people and in nature, just try to find the avenues of connection, because you are more than any one dimension of yourself or what you think you are or what you identify with. There's always more sides of us, more wisdom to be gained by being curious about others and seeing like, oh, through talking to this person and who they are and what they do and what they're interested in, I've discovered this part of me that's never really been opened and finds that certain thing interesting. There's always so many more dimensions of us than we have any realization of. So it's like being open to that. Okay, beautiful, pile 1. This is where I'm going to leave you guys. Happy journey with your spiral of creation and bringing it into your sacral chakra. I will see you in the next reading, which is going to be up into our throat chakra to release whatever we've like really felt sensually, fluidly, physically creative in us, to express it into the world, to voice it into the world, to find truths that need to be released, that shatter oppressions and repression and oppression, and that just truthfully, openly, expansively express ourselves to the greater world. Okay, I will see you next week. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to your sacral chakra reading in this Spiral of Creation series. So it's the 4th of 7 readings. So you guys chose pile 2 with the self-worth card. And I just have to say immediately as I was working through shuffling and drawing cards for you and noticing your, the card you chose, like so much has already come through. So hopefully I can remember everything that I've already sort of downloaded. It's like I had to kind of tell Spirit, like, hold, pause, like I haven't even started the reading. I gotta get some of this out first. So to start with, the fact that your card has the word self-worth on it is so poignant to me. I didn't even bring up that subject as related to the sacral in the first reading. And it didn't even occur to me, even though I'm very aware that sacral holds energy of developing self-worth, of where we hone self-worth and connect to self-worth. So as I saw this, it just hit me so hard that, even though the destination with this spiral is to integrate this spiral of creation into our heart, and so to be able to like emanate whatever it is the journey we've been through and the new things we've grown through and understood and integrated into us. But beyond that, it's like the stop at the sacral for you is like the most important stop there is, because there's something that is happening through the spiral of creation that is so deeply needed and so deeply going to connect you with a sense of self-worth that you are needing to see and understand about yourself, or I should say feel about yourself. The sacral is much more of a sensation type of thing. You need to connect to feeling your self-worth here. So let's explore maybe how this might be coming in for you, any other things that might add to that. We'll just go through the reading how I normally do, but I'll keep that in mind and relate it back when it makes sense. Okay, so the other thing where there's like a lot coming through is I've been flipping over this top row. I haven't looked at the other cards yet. Just getting us to jump in pretty quickly into your reading and get a sense for things. And in the previous readings, as well as in pile 1, typically these, sometimes they've felt related and sometimes these have felt like their own unique things to talk through. So this top row is all about what it is you need to either clear or prepare or understand in order to get your sacral chakra open and ready to allow this spiral of creation into it even. And as I drew these cards, it was just like one after the other. I'm like, this is a story. Like, they're not even just like related. They're not singular. Like, this is a story. So I can't even talk about one at a time here. This is absolutely, and I love this word arrival with that first house card. And I can definitely relate it to something coming through for self-worth. There is something that's been in hibernation, that's been in a winter phase for you that I think you're still getting past. And in a winter phase, we tend to detach more. We tend to be plugged into more sort of collective and cosmic type of energy. And we have more spaciousness around us when we're in that kind of mode or that sort of season in life or literal season. And to get to that spring phase, which first house has a deep correlation with, to get to your arrival of like a new path, a new awakening, you have to go through a process of cracking out of old constructs and of melting, thawing a freeze that's come in, that's given you that space and a detachment you've needed to kind of regenerate and heal. But in order to really move on and step from sort of a rejuvenated place into new, energetic, tight boundaries, self-focus, bringing ourselves back from like this big collective cosmic energy into our own focus on our own boundaries and our own path and our, like sunrise, like morning. It's, you have to do you for a minute before you can take on bigger boundaries that the day brings as it goes. And so you're in, your sacral, I should say, is in this process of sort of moving out of that kind of bigger cosmic kind of energy where things sort of freeze and become more still and spacious. So anything you can do to break out of those kind of ice molds, that stillness, to kind of get some impulses cracking old constructs away so you can step into new hope, new future. It's like kicking, and I'm looking at this boot on the Outlaw card, it's like kicking the past to the curb. What's something that, and it doesn't mean all of your past, the things that feel stale, the things that feel brittle, the things that are already cracking. What feels like that? And what action can you take to kick them to the curb? Like, this is a very abrupt awakening to me, because I feel like your sacral is ready to wake you up into a new arrival and a new sense of your self-worth, but you need to move out of this winter phase first. So I think this is at least going to take you the week between readings, between this reading and the throat chakra reading. If you're doing this later on when the throat chakra reading is already available, just, do not jump to that one until you really feel like you've broken out of some old molds, let certain things fall away in your life, kind of liberated from certain things that have hemmed you in, and until you feel like you suddenly have dropped into your own personal energy and are arriving into a new feeling within you of valuing yourself, a new like personal boundaries that feel very sensually connected to you and your body, and a new arrival of how you connect to your worth in terms of how you feel inside of you. Okay, let's get some confirmation cards for a little context. King of Wands, beautiful. Because it was hard to sort of segregate how I talked about these, I'm going to pull the confirmation for all of them before I talk about any. Wow, Two of Cups, gorgeous. Talk about a sense of feeling thawed, like straight from like a blizzard of winter to like the height of summer here. I think a big thawing is coming your way. Yeah, Eight of Cups. Yes, there's definitely something you're needing to walk away from, you're needing to liberate from, and it should already be something you have a sense of that's like too confining for where your light is starting to grow, because it wants to break out in this way. It wants to feel alive to itself, belonged to itself, and there's something that is not letting that happen yet. But you've got command within you. You've got the authority and the command to take control of this and to put the hammer down and say, I am very focused on and determined to get to this new arrival, this new sense of self, and ready to connect to what my current and evolved authenticity is, and feel motivated to move into life through that. So you have your own green light. Whenever you say go, go will happen, and you will move out of this. You will walk away from whatever it is you need to walk away from, and you will move from point A to point B without any stops in between, of feeling slightly even depressed, slightly isolated, slightly burdened and chained down in certain ways to feeling creative, fully aligned with yourself, in harmony with your soul, attracting others who mirror that beautiful, warm, energetic, soulful, fluid, I'm seeing two snakes here and this sort of dancey movement within these two. You're gonna move from the height of winter to the height of a summer feel very quickly. And talk about self-worth. This is just like the focal point for me. Like, this is what's coming. If you can kick something to the curb, give yourself your own green light and walk away from something that you already know what it is. You already feel that thing of needing to liberate from something. And once you do, you're going to move almost straight into this as an arrival, and as suddenly totally connected to and moving through self-worth and a deep soul connection, and your sensuality and sexuality and body and your material surroundings, your physical surroundings, and your physical mold itself. So gorgeous. Really, really powerful. So this has been all about what needs to be done to get ready to even receive your spiral of creation into your chakra. But I think this has also given some insight with this of like, this is like a motivating factor for you from spirit to do the work we've already talked about here. Okay, we're going to move down to this bottom row, which is talking a little bit more about your sacral chakra in general. So we're going to look at what your relationship is with your sacral, how you develop a relationship with it, patterns that will arise when it is healthy, active, and working, and what its process is when it is integrating things, and so how that feels in your life and in you. Okay, so let's start with your relationship. Well, this is the sacral chakra itself. The energy of the sacral chakra helps us to navigate our lives through our emotions and supports our ability to enjoy the sensual world. So it's a very simple relationship you've got with your sacral chakra. That being said, the sacral chakra can be one of our most difficult to keep clear, healthy, and active. It is one that shuts down so quickly and so easily on us because it is our emotional center. And we store a lot of baggage there, a lot of trauma there, a lot of guilt there, so much there. Sexual awkwardness, body awkwardness, material lack, there's so many things that, it's a really, so all of this being said, the more you just very purely focus on working on trusting and developing a relationship with your sacral, so working through being sensual, being in touch with your body, being in touch with your emotions, being in touch with instinctual movement, animalistic body connection, and sensuality, your five senses, how you mold your world, how you take care of your body, how you take care of your finances, how you allow your sexuality to be free and thriving and alive. It's just pure energy here. The more you can just trust in your sacral chakra with these things, the more you can work on developing things, work on paying attention to these things, work on testing out your threads here, pulling on threads here, the more you can do things that make your senses give you pleasure, the more you can move your body in the way your body wants to move, not in the way you think it's supposed to move. Like just being really in touch with that and really in touch with what you feel, and using that more as information and not as something to identify with, but respecting emotions that come through you as beautiful information that your body provides you, and allowing them just to move through you like clouds. Yeah, the more you can do that, the deeper you build a relationship here, and an understanding of and an awareness of your sacral. Okay, let's get a confirmation card. Ooh, the Magician. Yeah, it just feels like when that relationship is being worked on and paid attention to and noticed, and yeah, like when you work on your relationship with your sacral, just pure sacral energy, you manifest through that physical, sensual, material world so purely and so easily when you are focused on developing relationship to this area of your energy. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is patterns that will show up when your sacral is active, healthy, and working. Discipline, gorgeous. I can accomplish what I set my mind to. So your sacral, when it is healthy and working, it gives you that like a sustained flow of sensuality, a sustained flow, sort of thinking like how dams channel water through them and it produces energy, is like you know how to sustainably channel that flow that your sacral produces in a disciplined way, in a focused way, in a precise way that gives you endurance and sustainability in order to be disciplined and in order to really accomplish things through that material realm, through that physical realm, through that sensual realm. And then you've got Ace of Wands. Wow, this is gorgeous. Yeah, it's just like you, your creativity and the discipline, just adding into what I already talked about, you know, that pattern of discipline showing up when your sacral is healthy. Not only is it like just, you know, focused and precise and sustainable, but it's creative and it's got creative power. It's got vision. It's got, yeah, it's like, you know how to, your sacral, your physical and emotional energy knows how to find the target it wants, how to find a very fixed focus on something. And so hence how to precisely and sustainably channel your creative, sensual, emotional flow, because you're really good at fine-tuning and fixing a target that's, you know, usually very creative in nature. Gorgeous. Okay, now let's look at sort of the process of your sacral when it's integrating things. So, transformation. Okay, I'm going to read the book for this. So 26. Process, identity, seek answers. A woman is dressed in a red polka dot dress. The upper part has already begun the process of transforming into a butterfly. With her hand, she touches her chest. Is the butterfly a part of her body? Is it a symbol of her soul? Is the woman transforming into a new life? This card leaves us with more questions than answers. Maybe you will find answers by thinking about how you would respond to these questions. Am I the person I would like to be? Can I do right now? What can I do right now? To transform the small part of myself. Wow. Okay, so when your sacral is in the process of integrating things spirals of creation, or just something that enters into its field, it can really put you into transformation mode, which isn't always a comfortable thing. Going from caterpillar to chrysalis to butterfly is actually a pretty brutal process and big process. Yeah, so I feel like when your sacral is in process of something, when it's processing, integrating something, it is not scared of putting your energy, its energy, even your life in general, into a bit of turmoil and chaos, and allowing things to fall apart in order to kind of recongeal in a more beautiful way. So it's like that process of renovating a house. Like when you are integrating something into your sacral, it may have that essence about it, like you're renovating something, you're tearing things apart in order to find where the life-affirming aspects are and to rebuild through that and emerge as the butterfly. So pretty potent, pretty powerful stuff when it's in integration process. And the Knight of Pentacles, yeah, but like you're very like connected to this discipline thing about patterns that will arise when it's working in a healthy way. Is like you very much so care about stewarding, I think, your emotions, your physical self, your material world. I think you deeply care about these things and are passionate about these things, and eager to be responsible steward of these things. So you're willing to bravely go in and clear the fields, to do whatever dirty work needs to be done to prepare the soils of your life for new growth. So whether that's burning away old crops, clearing old crops, redigging and aerating the ground, you know, there's so much dirty work that can be done when you think about land and work, you know, to cultivate it and to keep it healthy and to prepare it for new sowing or to bring in the harvest. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort, and it's very, each step of that process of taking care of, like stewarding something physical, can be messy, but so life affirming at the same time. When you're done with that messy process, it's like so much either halls of beauty or preparation for beauty to come in. It's like you're just not scared to get in there, to get into the physical of life and tear it apart when it needs to be torn apart in order for the new to come in, or for the different phase of whatever's happening to come in. So it's like when it's in process, you'll probably have that impulse, that motivation to just like get into things very physically and tear them apart in order for that new phase or cycle or whatever is coming in. Okay, to end this reading, I want to look a little bit more specifically at the current spiral of creation, even though that's very unique and individualistic to each of you. I do want to get messages from Spirit for you about this, things you would need to know, insights it wants to give you. And I thought, what better kind of messenger for that than the goddesses. So a goddess message for you about your sacral chakra in this current spiral of creation. So Maeve, cycles and rhythms, honor the cycles of your body, energy levels, and emotions. So that definitely gives me a little more context about talking about up here. So even though you may, once you do this work of walking away from certain things or thawing from winter to come to your new arrival, I think I had initially said, like, I think your sacral is ready. So as soon as you give the green light, you'll find the motivation to liberate from whatever it is you're needing to walk away from. This is saying, just adding to this, that, you know, if that didn't resonate, wait until you feel, don't push this, is basically what's coming through with this goddess. Like, don't push yourself to move out of winter before you feel ready to move out of winter. There may be some stuff you're still kind of grappling with, understanding, breaking away from, allowing to kind of fall into a bit of chaos before you can really, like, assertively sort of walk away and find your awakening. So just be, you know, honor your body, your energy levels, your emotions. If you need to stay in that silence of the snow for more time, that's what you need. So just pay attention to your body. It will let you know when it's time to say, go. let's break away. I feel spring in my bones, in my blood, in my, rising in me. When you feel that spring in your, you know, wanting to pop out of your surface from underneath, that's your time. Okay, last card. I want to find an ally for you from this Creative Soul deck. So it's sort of like a Creative Soul ally for you, to help you, to be there with you, to be a guide in this journey into your sacral chakra, as relates to this spiral of creation. Oh, this one, the One of Soul. So this one says, One of Soul signifies your internal knowing, the continuous presence of a guiding frequency. This card often signifies a disconnection from this innate energy. It shines a light on the obstacles that may arise if we forget the presence of this instinctive wisdom. Pause and listen to the soul. The answers are already imprinted. Connect back to your roots. So that gives me a little bit more context too about this snow and silence. That feeling of still being in winter and maybe not ready to, like, push yourself out of winter could be that silence, that stillness, is something that's helping you reconnect to your internal knowing. It may feel a bit diffuse right now. And so being in that silence, being in that spaciousness of sort of this winter energy where things are kind of freezing and cracking and, starting to fall apart. I think it's in that spaciousness and in that silence of letting that happen, you'll re-find that inner knowing. And that's that inner knowing, when you find it, that's going to give a kick into your cycles and rhythm, and that's going to give you that King of Wands authority to say go, and that permission from your own authority to walk away from things, which will then land you in that kind of spring arrival that puts you into this very beautiful kind of thriving, sensual place. So it may feel like a very long shot from where you are right now to thinking you might feel like this coming up as you move through the sacral, but I think my sense is this is what is coming. This is your motivation to stick with the work, to really pay attention to this reading and the guidance that's given, and moving this spiral of creation into your sacral. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If this resonated, I always appreciate a thumbs up. little comments. I always love hearing if there's little things that you feel like you want to say, and definitely subscribe if you're not. And I will see you guys in a week from my time up at the throat chakra, where we'll take this creative expression that got connected into this sensual molding and dance and movement of life into the throat, to find its clarity and expression, to use that vocal vibration to break down oppressions and repressions and clearly express our truth and move this spiral of creation a little bit more into the outer world. Okay, I will see you guys in the next reading. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your Spiral of Creation Sacral Chakra reading. You guys picked this yogic deck placeholder for the sacral chakra. We're just going to put your card to the side here and jump in to this top row of cards to begin your reading, which is all about things that you need to know for your sacral chakra, or that your sacral chakra needs to know, and that you need to know to help clear any blocks from your sacral chakra, prepare it, insights that Spirit wants to give about getting your sacral chakra open and active or ready to receive this spiral of creation into it. So this, I had this happen in the last pile too, which in this series, it hasn't typically happened. Sometimes these cards feel like they relate in certain ways, but most often they've felt kind of singular. But like last pile, pile 2, there's like a clear story just being laid out here for me that you need to know about to really get your sacral chakra open and ready. Is like whatever is coming through in this spiral of creation, whether it relates to that spiral of creation in general, or it relates to your sacral chakra specifically in relation to this journey. That's hard to say at this point, but there's something about this spiral of creation coming into your sacral chakra that is there's a timing about this, sort of like a new self-directed aspect of life is about to step forward, hence like a new hunger. It's like your future is something about this spiral of creation coming into your sacral is bringing your future into this creative sphere. So I don't know if it's about the future of how your sacral works or the future of something in your life because of this spiral. But there's definitely like a timing thing, a destined thing, and it's something when it comes into your sacral is really going to open the path of your future, where you have hunger and you have some more self-directed freedom and energy to work with. That being said, this is just sort of like an insight, and like, you know, not so much about where a block is, but like a timing thing here, but also like be prepared. Just like not a warning, but like a heads up. In a good way, like what's coming is, you know, potent. This is powerful. This is very giving you some new sense of passion and individuation and direction in life, direction of your creativity, certainly at least of your creativity. And so something about this next card feels like there's something you need to do to call, like maybe the timing is already here, but there's like something you have to do to turn it on. And it's, to me, this is like calling your future to you, speaking verbally out loud what it is you want, where you're going, where your heart is, what's impulsively just flowing through you electrically, energetically. It's like you need to just release it. There is something about our throat chakra and speaking that clears, I mean, literally clears the air, but in a more esoteric sense, it is the gate of breaking through oppression and repression. And so there's something about, you may internally like have a good idea of what this timing is about and what this new thing is, and you may have been like waiting for it, and like you're ready to self-direct, you know what you want, you know your direction, but it's like you can't find that opening. It's like you're stuck. And it's because you need to vocally out loud clear some air here, move those vibrations, your truth, your desires, your wants out of you with confidence, with clarity, to allow this future orientation, this new direction coming through, to have the freedom to turn on in your life. And when you do this, it is going to revolutionize your life. I don't feel this so much as like being a revolutionary or being, holding the torch for humanity. This feels much more personal to me, like you're going to revolutionize your life. You're suddenly going to have a torch as well as illumination from the full moon on what's been dark to lead the way. Every path starts with a light, a torch, lighting the way. The path to your, self-revolution, new self-directed path for your passion to get the green light to move forward is in your hands and in your voice. You need to speak it and then step toward the openings that become illuminated to you. But also noting that it will revolutionize something about your root or sacral chakra or about your life. So just sort of like, positive, but heads up, like this is gonna shake some things up, I think. Okay, let's get some confirmation cards up here. Oh, beautiful. So the self-direction, the new path you're feeling that has arrived, it just hasn't gotten the green light, is very Empressy. It's about, and it's so connected. I mean, this is why this sacral chakra is so important in this spiral of creation, is like really embracing the Empress within you of having endless fertility, endless creativity, because you know how to connect to your sensuality, you know how to let life flow and move, you know how to witness and embrace your emotions and not identify them, but love them for the information they bring, and just let them float in and out easily, softly, but just fertile grounds coming with this new future direction coming through. This new passion and self-direction is very fertile, very flourishing, and very in command of life and life force and creative force. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Yeah, I would be eager for the green light here. So definitely some motivation to speak your words here, because I do get the sense that like maybe you know this, but there's something you're nervous about in doing so. But hopefully this gives you some motivation. Temperance. Beautiful. yeah, I totally get why there's maybe some hesitation and why this is coming up as a block of needing to speak your words in order to clear some air, clear oppression or repression, or just vibrate into the world what you're doing to help clear the path for what your new direction is. It's like you're holding two very different worlds in the balance here. So it's like finding the right words that resonate in the two worlds you're commanding. It's like, but the temperance is such a beautiful indication that it's like you've learned how to master two different worlds. And so maybe it's just been like, how do I find the right words to speak that align and make sense in both places for where I am going and what I'm needing for me now. Like, I've mastered these two worlds, but they've maybe made them about themselves, these worlds. And it's my turn to be about myself, my direction, what's coming out of me, because I've worked so hard, like, for other people, for building bridges, for, I don't know, more complex, bigger outer world things. And it's like, I just need to pronounce that, like, right now I'm doing something for me, and I need to find the words that resonate well here. Yeah, so it's like, but the sense I get when I look at this woman with her voice is like, it's coming up and out of her in this electrical, energetic impulse. I think you'll know when the right articulation is in you, because it will just come out without you having to like think about it or sit and write drafts of how to speak it or what it is. Like, I think it's just gonna congeal, and suddenly you'll know, and it will just come out of you, and you'll almost be sort of like shocked, like, whoa, okay, didn't see that coming, but yeah, that is my truth. And that way it came out is like the best possible way that keeps those bridges established, that keeps the flow in harmony, but that clarifies that I have a direction now that I need to take care of. Okay, last one, the Fool. Yeah, it's a new path. Wow, so exciting. Like, yeah, take the leap. When that path is revealed to you, once that articulation, that speaking comes out of you just naturally because it's congealed, which leads to this path being illuminated and open to you and revealed to you. It's saying, do not hesitate. Don't caution be damned. Jump, go. I don't think the path will be open forever. So it's saying, take the leap. You've already been waiting on this. So just when it presents itself, go. Because fires burn out and moons phase into dark moons. So it's not a permanent opening. It's, but it will be clear. It will be clear to you, and you just have to jump, which I think everything's indicating that you will. So that's not going to be an issue, but this is just sort of like confirmation, like jump. Okay, we are going to move to this bottom row, which is a little bit more about in general how your sacral chakra works. So this first one is about how, like, what is your relationship to your sacral chakra, and how can you build a deeper, more clear and aware relationship here. Ooh, okay, 7th chakra. The energy of the crown chakra supports our feeling of being connected to a higher power and part of a larger whole. Ooh, that's so beautiful. So your sacral chakra is like, it has a direct line of communication with your crown chakra. So the more you allow downloads to ignite, to motivate, to inspire the way you connect to your senses, to your fertility, to your empressy-ness, the deeper you will build a relationship with your sacral. And the more you keep your sacral just like very open to spiritual realms, to channeling, so your sensuality is like being very open to the sensuality of the cosmic, the sensuality of the mystic, of feeling very endless, like open and receiving and fertile through being a channel, through moving through what's channeled in you. It's interesting, but really beautiful. So like the way that you move and the way that you experience emotions and the way that you connect to pleasure may have this mystical, ethereal kind of tinge over it, which could make you really fascinating to watch. It's like your sacral is a little bit cool and ethereal, like if you don't know who the singer Sade is, you should look her up. And I think it's just spelled Sade, but it's Sade. She's very a mystic in a sensual way. And I think that's, the more you get in touch with that kind of energy, your sensuality being a little bit mystical, the stronger it is you become. You develop like a strong, trusting relationship with your sacral chakra. The more you allow yourself to be mystically sensual, mystically creative. There's something about that really refines and beautifies your relationship there, and trust in your sacral chakra. Gorgeous, really cool. Okay, we are now going to look at the kinds of patterns that will present themselves in your lives when your sacral is open and healthy and working in top form. So, success. I know there is no greater goal than love. I think this came up in another chakra reading. I can't remember which one, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the people who already had that come here to this pile too. It's like a thread or something in your chakra energetics. And this actually connects so deeply with the way you develop a relationship to your chakra and what your relationship is to your sacral. Because I do sort of feel like that seventh chakra, or the crown chakra, is this willingness to be just like deeply open to sorry, I just dropped a bunch of cards. Hold on. Deeply feeling like unified with the whole of the universe, which has to come through sort of like a heart seeing, an ability to see through your heart. So I feel like the patterns that will kind of present themselves in your lives when your sacral is really flowing and healthy and active and moving is sort of this just sense of being able to move through life and enjoy life through a heart seeing, which can feel a little blind because it's not like it's coming through deductive reasoning or through I don't know, a sense of having a target or a goal, or it's just like this deep trust in the flow of life. Yeah, that's the pattern that arises. There's a deep like when the sacral is working really beautifully, is like this deep trust in the flow of life, and a deep trust that when you just see through your heart, and when you move through that flow of life, that there's endless resources, that there's endless material, physical, sensual matter and pleasure and fertility in life, because you're just open and loving and moving through this heart scene with the flow, like some cosmic current that, not everyone can sense and feel in a physical way, but you can. You can sense and feel these cosmic currents, and it's like you just jump in when your sacral is healthy and active. And there's just this deep trust in it. And that deep trust really reduces any restriction and resistance in life, and it just allows your life to flourish. Okay, forgot to pick a confirmation card for that, so we're going to pick confirmations for both of these real quick before moving on. Knight of Wands, so gorgeous. Look at the purples that match here. And the link, I already felt the strong link between these. There's it's like her foot is anchored in here and her target is anchored in here, and that makes sense. It's like you have a foot that, a part of you that permanently sort of lives in that cosmic space that allows you, like in a physical sense, like a part of you physically and emotionally lives in the cosmic realm. And so it allows you to physically sense those cosmic currents and take the leaps into them and trust, a deep trust and focus of like, I just put my focus and trust there, and then life just works. Yeah, so Knight of Wands, it's a very, the Knight of Wands is a very brave, it's very courageous in doing so. And again, it brings just a lot of creative fire to you in what you move. Like the currents you sense are very creative and exciting currents, cosmic currents. And then Seven of Swords. Oh, I love this. And they help you to, I think you're a different breed than most. I think a lot of people probably watch you and the way you move and the way you materialize in life, and it makes no sense to them. And so sometimes there's sometimes when things don't make sense to us, it's like we can't really look away. We're intrigued, we're fascinated, but we still have sort of like, an arm out a bit of like, well, I want to watch you from afar. So you may have sort of like that sense in life that there's a lot of energy on earth that's sort of like, I don't know, like keep a little arm out with you because I don't understand. Like, you're fascinating, you're enchanting to watch, but I don't understand it. So I just, just an arm's length away, please. I just have to watch this more because I don't get it. But but it's like I love it. It's I can't not watch it. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I want to be around it, but like I can't. There's just like a little bit of a barrier that can, sometimes that doesn't feel great. Sometimes those that are of a slightly different realm can find it hard to fit in, and sometimes you may feel this need to see how others are doing things because clearly the way you do things sometimes doesn't make sense. So maybe if I do it the way they do it, I'll make sense, but it doesn't work that way. You're still this creature, even when you try to do things the way others are doing it and like mimic or use sort of templates for, take templating notes from the way things are being done normally. But it doesn't work that way. And so when you can trust in the way you work, in that foot you have in physically in this cosmic flow, and take your leaps and have that blind trust in that cosmic current, it helps to alleviate any tension you feel around this Seven of Swordsness of like wanting to do it the way others do it. It helps you to be able to turn away from that and just really fully drop into and accept that you're just wired a different way. It's not better or worse, it's just there's just a way you work, and that your sacral works, and the way you find your success is when you go with the flow of this cosmic current you're trusting that's moving you along, and it eases any tension, any fixation, any it really helps you to very easily turn away from that needing to do things the way others do it. It really easily helps you to turn your back to that and look at your cosmic, amazing beauty. Turn your back on just ways you're not meant to work. Turn your back on having to be like everyone else, owning your original colors, and just having so much success in feeling loving, in life materializing, in trusting your own colors and the cosmic as this guide, and deep access you have and relationship you have with it in terms of how you can create and how it wants to create through you. It's like you're almost even maybe an empty vessel for the universe to create through you, like trusting that. And it just, it's beautiful. Okay. Last here, we're going to look at when your sacral chakra is integrating certain things into it. What is its process? Hence, how does that feel? Like, what does that feel like? What is its process? We've got 45 new directions, and I'm going to read from the book for this. Departure, new perspectives, goodbyes. A dandelion is an airship traveling through the sky with a top hat as the basket these men are flying away in. One man jumps out of the basket and sails off on a flying dandelion seed. It takes him far away, while the other men wave goodbye and wish him well. This story illustrates endings and departures that are necessary to gain new perspectives in life. It takes courage to change directions and abandon old habits, but if you are bold enough, you can fly towards something new, a dream, a place, even yourself. And I feel so much about this, about your need to just fully trust in those currents you feel when they open to you cosmically, and feeling them sensually and emotionally in your body to take those leaps. And this also feels like that. I don't think it's always like these big, huge departures that when your sacral is integrating things that happen, but they're departures in the sense of what we talked about here, of this willingness to turn your back on having to fit in or do things in the same mold as everyone else, and going with that cosmic flow and that trust, and opening up to those, flying toward a dream, a place, even yourself. It's like self-acceptance, opening to these dreams that you're so deeply connected into, that are so unique and special to you. And a lot of people may not understand. They may be like, you know, dreams aren't things that we manifest. Dreams are imaginary realm. They're magic realm. But there's something about you that's like, really? I mean, I guess you're saying that. That's when you're turned the other way in the Seven of Swords. Like, okay, well, I'll just do it more structured the way you're doing it. But it's like, no, when you can trust and take the leaps and feel sensually, emotionally, physically when those cosmic currents are trying to pick you up, and just trust it and take the leap and go. It's like the things you can do with the dreams, with that foot you have in the other place. You can feel integration there. You can feel the magic, the dream integrating, materializing, turning into reality, molding in your life. This is like art reflecting life and life reflecting art here. But it takes that trust. And so like when you do trust and when that process ignites, then it does feel like being teleported into this realm you have a foot in, and really believing in the magic you see in this other place and in you. Okay, last cards. I wanted to, even though you guys have your own inspirations and downloads that you're taking through this spiral of creation, I just do, oh, sorry, I keep forgetting your guys's tarot confirmation cards. I think because I'm already sort of teleported into other worlds, so I'm, you know, in a different, doing things differently for you guys. Five of Cups, again, yeah, it's like you turn your back on what's not. You find when your sacral is in process of integrating, you find the courage, the willingness, the ease of walking away from the things that are not meant for you, that are not right for you, that you may at times fixate on wanting them to be right for you. But when you're in process, it's much easier, and you get it and you just trust it, and it's easy for you to it's like you can see through a different lens suddenly of like, oh, that thing is not alive. Whereas sometimes you can be blinded to what's vital for you and what isn't, what is fertile for you and what isn't. But when you trust and you jump, and then your sacral's at work integrating, you suddenly have these new lenses that make it really clear of what is and isn't fertile for you, and it makes it very easy to walk away from what isn't and toward what is. Okay, so now I want to, you know, even though you have your particular thing you're taking through this spiral, I do want to get some messages from Spirit in specific to this for you. So first we're going to, I thought the goddesses would be a beautiful sort of messenger for the sacral chakra. Oops. Well, you have two goddesses. So Una, take it, or easy does it. There is no need to hurry or force things to happen. Everything is occurring in perfect timing. Yeah, just trust it. And like I felt here, it's like, yes, something needs to be spoken. But when that congeals in you what it is, it will just come out. So there's no need to work on this. It's just, it will come naturally. Like there's nothing you need to do here, but just live your life. Trust in the cosmic, tap into the cosmic and sensual ways. Easy does it, move through it, trust the timing, trust the flow. And when the right congealing of articulation comes together, it will just come out of you. Just easy does it there. Oh, and I lost that next card for you. I did pick two. What happened? I saw it, but I've forgotten. I feel like if I see it in the deck again, I'll know. Why did it disappear? Why did I do that? Oh, here it is. Okay, yeah, Vesta. Home, your household situation is improving either through a move or a healthy change in the occupants. So Vesta is a great encourager to just keep your own inner flame lit, to steward your spaces and environments, and helping to do that. And yeah, a message here is like maybe something beautiful in your living environment or in the environment of your body as a temple, as sacred. And maybe both of those, like some healthy changes are coming in with this, whatever's coming through your spiral of creation this time. Okay, and then I want to get a creative soul ally for you that wants to be with you or give you a message about moving this spiral of creation into your sacral chakra. Doesn't surprise me. Enigma, you guys. This is so, I mean, I don't know. It's funny to me. It's so on. Okay. The Enigma usually appears in moments of uncertainty. It can signify blocked paths or energies cloaked in unnerving mystery. This card requires you to sit with the unknown, sink deeper into any disconnecting feelings that may arise from ambiguity. Often the clarity we seek surfaces from these internal perceptions rather than the subject in question. Yeah, I mean, honestly, when we are with kind of more cosmic-y type energy, it is ambiguous. It can be unclear. It can be incredibly confusing. The best way through that is patience. Things clarify when they clarify, and not because we push or puzzle it out or seek answers. It's a natural process. It's sort of like the congealing within a chrysalis of the butterfly. It's a mysterious process. You need to just let it be in its process and allow that time to be ambiguous. Yeah, patience. Sit with the unknown. Sit with disconcerting feelings. Sit with the ambiguity. And by sitting in these things, the clarity will come with patience. It will arrive. It's a natural process. It is coming into some kind of form, some kind of new emergence, but it takes its own time. So just sort of sit with these things, allow them. And so that's maybe where you are right now. Maybe something you need to be told at the moment is like patience with your sacral, because something is ambiguous in terms of how this is going to come into your sacral, how that feels when it does, what it's doing when it's in process. Patience. The clarity will come. You'll know the right timing to say what you need to say, to jump when you need to jump, to catch that cosmic current when you physically and emotionally feel it. Yeah, no need to hurry, force, or push things to happen. Everything's in perfect timing right now. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If this resonated, I always appreciate a thumbs up. Little comments are definitely fun to catch as well. And I'd love for you to subscribe if you're not already, although I feel like if you're this far into this spiral of creation, you probably are. But if not, please do. Okay, see you guys in the next reading, which will be our throat chakra. We'll be going back upward to the throat chakra, which is funny because we've had some throat chakra here, but even more of that will be coming out, where you'll come into this place of needing to speak things orally into the world to help clear paths and to let our truth clearly out into the world and move this spiral of creation more out into the world. All right, I'll see you then. Hello, Pile 4. Welcome to your Sacral Chakra reading within this Spiral of Creation Chakra series. Okay, so you guys picked your card or your pile from the Your Wild Animal sacral card, and specifically on your card it highlights guts here. And it's interesting that, you know, there's so many different associations with sacral chakra and sacral energy that, you know, you as a card reader, you know, you go with what channels through you. And it's interesting that gut being one of the things from the sacral that has a deep association, a very, very potent and big association there, has not yet come up in any of the readings until all of a sudden I get to yours and I'm like, oh, gut. Okay, so that says a lot about you guys and your particular sacra, and maybe specifically messages for right now that there's something about getting in touch with your gut, taking care of your gut. We'll see how things relate back to that, but that seems important to point out. Okay, so starting with this top row that already has turned over cards, we're looking at where there may be any blocks to clear or things that Spirit wants to inform you about to help get your sacral open and ready to receive this spiral of creation into it. So first off, we've got Mercury and messages, and this feels to me like a timing thing. Like there's a message that is coming in that will really prepare your sacral for opening. When I think of messages with Mercury, it's usually like a written message or a message in person. So looking like information that comes your way, whether that's in person or through writing. It could be an email, a text, or it could even be something that you read like in a book or a magazine or online somewhere that's like feels like a divinely orchestrated thing to have come across, like, oh, that's the exact information I've needed for so and, you know, for such and such or whatever. But there's something about some information coming your way to be aware of that is integral to your sacral being ready to open to this spiral. And I can't help but notice in this Mercury card, the caduce here, the caduceus, which is the medical symbol that has that hermetic association that Mercury has, and the gut thing. So there may be something as well, the information coming may even be something more physically centered in bringing some health and wellness and good types of things that you're currently needing for your gut to establish its flourishing and health and whatnot. I mean, we are, if you come to this reading and, you know, more real time when I'm putting it out, it's springtime and it's like the time you do detoxes. So maybe there's some detoxing that your gut needs, or maybe there's some probiotics or whatever, you know. I'll let whatever information is supposed to come to you instead of trying to give you my thoughts on it. Because our chemistry is all so different. But yeah, I do feel like there might be like a pretty literal association about information that will be coming to you physically about and health-wise around your gut. Not saying that it's not healthy, but something just to boost it, and that will kind of prime it to be ready and more open and energized to engage itself in this spiral of creation. Okay, let's pick a confirmation card for that. Eight of Swords. Yeah, there's something like blocking it. But I feel like this spiral I'm seeing is like that information you specifically need for your gut. It will land. It's coming to you. It's already on its way. There's nothing you need to do. It's already coming your way. Just be aware. And you'll know, like I love seeing that star above her head. It's like, hold on one second. That star above her head, it's like, aha, like I know, oh, that's the information. Like you'll know when it hits. And then you also got 9, 2 popped out here, 9 of Swords. Yeah, you may just be sort of worried about, like this might already be something that's on your mind that you're thinking about, a little, maybe even worried about. And this is like, relax. It's the information you need is on its way to you. There's nothing more you need to do. So just sort of relax is what I'm getting here. Okay, so next we have the soul and passion. And what I'm seeing here is this moving. I mean, this feels very so physically centered to me. Like literally we're moving from winter to spring when things, the earth, which you're seeing in that person's eye, is thawing out, at least in the northern hemisphere. And the trees are bare, but we're starting to get life coming up, new green grass, butterflies starting to move some things around, pollination. And so this just feels a lot like timing, like there's something about new spring energy for your gut. B, there's something about just the timing of moving into when things feel more like spring and coming to life. Yeah, it's like your sacral, I think, just needs to move from a winter phase to spring phase. So this is a lot more about timing, it feels like, than like blocks, the Chariot. Oh, and I love that because I was wondering, I was kind of not getting a real deep connection about why the soul was coming up on this card and what I was feeling coming through. But this clarifies what that is, the Chariot. You'll know, again, like the star above that woman's head, when the right information comes, you'll also know when your sacral has that new spring energized feeling. It's like you're going to feel a green light within you, like your body coming into like a chariot of light, like a Merkaba, if you know what that is. Like you'll feel lighter and you'll feel like there's suddenly a green light and a clear path ahead for you. And then the void, I feel like this is where you feel like things are right now. That winter void. It's like, what? Let's see what this says. Strength. Yeah, this is just saying like, hang in there. To me, that's what it's saying. Like the sun is coming. This is a seasonal issue. This is nothing you need to like really do to, clear some more deeper kind of psychological type blocks. This is more of a seasonal block that's needing to be cleared to prepare for this spiral of creation to come in. So like stay connected to your heart, stay strong. This void is diminishing, and through the portal of the void, the sun will come out, and you'll know the right time. So just like hang in there is kind of all I'm getting about that. Wow, it's like very simple and clear for you guys. This is just a timing thing, a seasonal thing, and reconnecting to kind of some new spring energy and information to maybe either detox or give a spring boost to your gut. Okay, we're going to move to this bottom row now, which is going to look a little bit more at how your sacral chakra works. So we're first going to look at what is your relationship with your sacral, and so how can you develop a stronger relationship with your sacral. Gorgeous. Honesty. The energy of honesty supports our choice to be courageously truthful and genuine with kindness and tact. Oh, I love that. So this makes me feel like your sacral is very connected to spring energy in general. So and I'm no expert in this, so I apologize if I get this slightly skewed, but my understanding in Chinese medicine theory, that spring energy is sort of an energy about, and I'm actually taking this information from partially a Qigong practitioner I follow, and partially from another Chinese medicine practitioner that has some archetypes she's built from the seasons. So I do have places I'm pulling these from, so if it's a little more archetypal, it's because I pulled it from specific areas. But the energy of spring has a lot to do with recognizing how sort of clarity and kindness. So the energy of spring is wood, and it's all about needing and wanting growth, quick growth. And so there can be anger and frustration that comes up with that energy when it's thwarted. It doesn't like being stalled. It doesn't like being thwarted. But when it comes from a place of kindness and genuineness and truthfulness, that is the energy that really helps clear any blocks and opens up that growth to be unobstructed. And so moving, I feel like for you, because I'm feeling this deep association with like wood energy or spring energy and your sacral, is like when you can tap into your gut responses to things from a place of kindness, that's when you find the growth that your sacral, that your sensuality, your sense of pleasure, your sense of the physical wanting to get into life, that's when it grows. That's when you can find growth through that energy in your body, through that sacral energy, is when you really, really tap into kindness, tact, honesty, being genuine, and a little bit like brave as well. It really connects you with that gut. You like to have, I think, strong, gut responses to things, and you're very, I think, physically connected to your gut and emotionally connected to your gut. So you develop a more trusting, beautiful, thriving relationship when you learn to cultivate kindness and to identify emotions of anger and really see what it is that anger is arising from as maybe being where you're feeling thwarted. And so then how can you find something to be more kind and genuine about in this block and where you're feeling thwarted? Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to pick a confirmation card for this. 6 of Wands. Yeah, and when you come from that place, when that relationship is strong through this kind of energy we've talked about, you naturally find victories. You naturally find the spotlight. You naturally are just courageous and thriving and winning in energy. Okay, next we're going to look at sort of the patterns that will present in your life when your sacral chakra is open, active, and healthy, when it's working. Change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. Yeah, so when patterns that will arise, and specifically maybe how your sacral kind of comes on and moves you, when it's healthy and energetic and active, is this need to move, which doesn't shock me with this kind of spring energy we're already seeing, is like this need to get in there and like mold life and create life and move, like your life will be moving and you will be moving and you will be very physically in that process of moving and molding and I think of molding as changing your life, as change. You're molding your life, you're moving the matter of your life. It's like a lot of that, just like a lot of growth through molding life, changing life to be more beautiful, to be more vital, to be less obstructed. Okay, let's get a confirmation here. Page of Pentacles, totally. Pentacles is all about the material, the physical. This is like, I feel like you have such a physical connection to your sacral over than like a deep emotional connection, other than like that kindness versus anger. I think those are the two primary emotions that, not that everyone can experience every emotion, but I think like your baseline types of emotions are like feeling kind versus feeling angry. Oh, look how these mirror each other, that page, that star in the circle and the star in a circle. But the Page of Pentacles is a material energy, and the page to me is a very spring energy. It's the new dream, it's the new initiative, it's the new value coming in, and it does want to get in there and initiate new things, mold new things, create movement and change, growth. Yeah, it's just so when your sacral is healthy, you just feel the energy to do that, and you feel the ability and unobstructed paths for growth, and growth in terms of molding and just physically getting into life. I feel like creating physical beauty. Yeah. Okay, this last card we're going to look at is sort of about the energy of when your sacral chakra is integrating something into it. What is its process? So what does that feel like when it's integrating things? We've got Night Ride. So I'm going to read from the book for this. That must be one of the last ones, 46. And there's a few more. Okay. Protector, Wonder in the Night, Big Brother, Friendship. An elephant transports 2 owls on his back, a mother and her young bird child. Protectively, she has folded her wing over the young owl's head. The elephant rides through the night, blowing stars up into the sky through its trunk. Connected with magic and wonder, the elephant is a protector, a strong shoulder to lean on in all times. Even during dark times, you can feel safe and secure beside him. So when your sacral is integrating things into its gut instincts, its intuitive connection to its want, especially in you, to move and mold life, is like, I think this happens in multifaceted ways. I think things, like it attracts things in that are very protective of what you're doing, but I think it also kind of turns you into both like, it gives you both sort of like elephant energy and owl energy of being able to kind of really clear very powerfully any obstruction from your path, and using that wisdom and intuition that the owl has. And I love it sort of also moving through that night star dream stuff. It's like really being able to be this channel between the cosmic and the earth, the real physical material of things, being able to be that channel that anchors things down, to take things from the dream and to mold them in some way. And so when you're in process, you have an elephantness, you have an owlness, and you have this ability to be the channel that takes the mystical or the dream and knows exactly how to anchor it in a very material, physical way. And also protectors tend to appear and obstructions tend to disappear, and you just feel protected. There's something that moves through you and that processes when your sacral's in process, where you have this sort of like divine protection around you. So that's really gorgeous. Okay, let's look at confirmation card here. The Emperor. Yeah, it's another very spring-like card to me. It's very Aries in energy. It knows how to step into the new of things, assert into the new of things, start new things, and create the order. So your sacral and your gut may not be as sort of flowy and emotional and fluid as many others, but it knows how to creatively take command. It knows it's got a strong connection to that kind of that association of the gut instinct, gut feelings, really connected to the gut response. All the more important to, in health-wise, take care of your gut. And when it's in process, when it's integrating something, you'll feel like you're in a mode of establishing order, initiating things and establishing order. Yeah, gorgeous. Okay, so even though you guys are on your own journeys with the spiral of creation and have your own inspirations you're taking through this journey, I do just want to bring in some messages from Spirit about, that are broad enough that would speak to all of you, but specific enough that they speak to what's going on in your journey as relates to your sacral. And so I thought, what better kind of guidance to bring in than goddesses for this chakra? And so we're just going to get a message from the goddesses about your spiral of creation in relation to your sacral. Oh, gorgeous. Mother Mary, expect a miracle. Have faith that your prayers have been heard and are being answered. This feels very much so like that protector, like kind of cosmic protector energy that I felt come through here. Oh, look, owl and owl. You have a lot of wisdom and inner knowing and intuition for sure. But yeah, there's like, it's sort of like you, whatever's coming through for you to your sacral in this spiral is maybe still in that kind of cosmic place, and you're waiting for that channel, like that green light from the cosmos to release what it wants to channel through you. It's like you are aware there's something that's supposed to channel through you to anchor into this world, and you're just kind of open right now, or it's telling you to be open, and that it's coming, and you have the protection you need around you. And through this spiral, it's something that is, you have like a deep faith or a prayer in of wanting to bring into your life, or wanting this spiral to kind of turn this, however it's been moving through this spiral in the sacral spot, you're wanting it to feel miraculous, which is what exactly your sacral does. Is it takes this very etheric channeled message and it anchors it in, and that feels miraculous. So you're waiting for that to happen. I think this process, and it's just saying, have faith, stay open. Whatever you're asking for here, it has been heard. So just stay open, and it will come, channel into you and down into the physical of your life, or the impulse of what to physically do with this. Okay. I also want to pull a creative soul kind of archetypal energy to be like an ally and guide for you as well as you go through this sacral part of the spiral of creation. And it says concept. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You do, from what I've seen, it's like you take things from concept, from a download, from spiritual information and channeling, and anchor it in. So let's see what it says about concept. a burgeoning energy, an abstract idea. This is an important card, making the transience of creativity and the changeable nature of the self. Marking the transience of creativity and the changeable nature of the self. This card asks you to release any form of expectation or refinement, to embrace the impermanence of pure creative imagination, release any hold on the outcome, return to the province of pure creative conception. And I think this is where Mother Mary is saying, like, what I'm feeling is being said is like, stay open, even though there's something specific kind of coming through your spiral of creation. I do think that something that kind of moves from that spiritual realm into your gut in relation to this will kind of morph it a bit, mutate it a bit in a good way that will feel miraculous. So like, just, letting go of expectation. Like, I think that real need to push forward where you can feel thwarted sometimes. I think it's saying, like, have some patience. Something is coming. Don't form expectations here, because that will just make you feel like there's obstructions when there aren't. You're just not open to receiving what's supposed to be received. And you need to be very open and unformed in how you think your spiral is supposed to move into your sacral here. So you're best to just kind of stay open and be that channel of something spiritual just really moving through you that will connect to what has already been moving through, but I just think in maybe a different way, and a more miraculous way. So that's what I feel like this concept archetype is saying, is like, stay open, don't form expectations, stay in broad strokes here while you wait for that piece of information, for spring to come, for your gut to light up, and then that channeling, that etheric energy will channel through you in the way it's supposed to. But I don't think it's going to be, if you were to form expectations, it won't match that. So, and then you may, like, have some tension around and some frustration around, like, not feeling like the path is clear for you. It is, it's just, you need to not have, like I said, clear your expectations of how this is going to come in, so that when it does, you don't feel thwarted. You feel free to move forward because you've received it in a pure way, not in a way of expectation. Okay. Sorry, I feel like I repeated myself several times there. Anyway, beautiful. I mean, you guys, so much wisdom with that double owl, a lot of beautiful spring energy. This feels energetic to me. Like, maybe you're in the void, but that, like, you're about, your gut is going to turn on here, and it will just be like charge. So, okay. If this resonated, I always appreciate a thumbs up. Little comments are definitely fun to peruse, and definitely subscribe if you are not yet. And next up, a week from when I'm doing this one, or when it goes live, there will be a new reading where we will go back upward to our throat chakra, where we'll now take what we've creatively felt and moved and flowed through us, and kind of verbalize it, speak something about this, express something about this into the world, which clears the air. It breaks up oppression and repression, and it moves the vibration of the spiral of creation a little bit more out into the world versus coming from more personal work with this. Well, yeah, so next week it will start to push this vibration more outward, world facing. Okay, I will see you then.